So, back along, ladies and gentlemen here, and welcome back. Why, thank you. I really appreciate that. Of course, if you are new to the channel, thank you so much for joining us. I am very happy to have you here. It's so early, I don't know where my glasses is, but Alex has been hounding me for intros, so I thought I'd get an early start and make some intros for some of the videos that I've already uploaded to him, but of course, I'm too lazy to do intros, mainly because they break the flow of the videos. But here we are, we're making an intro, so Alex, you're welcome. Now, the truth is I asked Alex to add this intro to a video because, of course, this video is sponsored. But more on that a little bit later. Just want to say a big thank you to the people over on Skillshare. Today's video, as if this is the news. Oh, today in news today. No, there's no news today. It's literally just a video about Ashes of Creation. I can't even pretend that I'm a journalist. No, I'm just a fat cunt who loves playing video games. That is literally the extent of my knowledge. I play a lot of video games. I know what I like. I know what I don't like. And I sort of know what casuals like and casuals don't like, because I've been both. I've been a hardcore player and I've been a casual player. So today's video, stop doing news shit, Akalon. In the video today, we are sort of looking into Ashes of Creation and some of the potential pitfalls that I think is highlighted within Ashes of Creation, and some of the things that could potentially ruin the game for everyone. Now, I'm not going to go through a lot of the things that other videos have already discussed. I'm basically focusing on the things that I haven't heard people discuss. We're sort of giving a little bit of time to hype, just to... I have to talk a little bit about hype, but most of it is actually about something that I haven't heard anyone highlight in their sort of cautious videos about Ashes of Creation. Full disclosure, watch the whole video before you click off and go, oh my god, I can't believe this guy just said it. Try to be objective, try to listen, and then if you have disagreements, absolutely let me know in the comment section down below. You also, if you didn't know, there is a little like button. It's a little thumbs up button like this right below the video. You take that little button, right? You bend it over. You spank its little bottom until it's blue, like you would do to your girlfriend or your boyfriend if they were being naughty. And that way, YouTube knows that these videos are likable and people enjoy them. Even if you didn't like it, then you can just spank the little dislike button. It's the same thing. You're still helping. So yeah, go ahead, go crazy. Just do something. However, before we get into this entire video, allow me a moment to thank the sponsor of today's video. Skillshare, of course it's Skillshare. I love Skillshare. I love the guys over at Skillshare. I love what they do with Skillshare. I sort of happened onto a very weird lesson that has nothing to do with my channel. It's got nothing to do with anything that I do. It's just something that I enjoy as in my spare time, and it is literally called Knife Skills, a mini class to chop like a chef. It is by Elena Karp. She is the head chef at Plated, and I literally can't stop watching it. I just enjoy the lesson. That's literally what Skillshare is. If you can think about it, there's a class on it on Skillshare. Millions of other people around the world every single day dive into Skillshare to better themselves. Why are you missing out? Like, seriously, for less than $10 a month, you can be one of the people that better yourself. In a year from now, maybe you're better than your boss. Like, you just walk into his office and go, "Sup, bitch, I'm quitting because I'm better than you," and then you throw your papers in the air and you leave. And not like the meme, you don't have to pick up the papers again because you're really leaving. You've now bettered yourself. You've become a better person. That's literally what Skillshare can offer you. And for less than $10 a month on an annual subscription, can you really afford not to do that? Like, seriously. If, however, you're still on the fence, if you're still going, I don't know, Akalon, I'm not entirely sure that's the best place to spend my money, you know what? The guys over at Skillshare, they've done an absolute tremendous job. I told you that these guys and girls are amazing. The first 1,000 people to click the link in the description down below will receive a premium membership trial for free, 14 days, for you to test out everything there is on Skillshare, and then you can decide to subscribe. Not only will you be helping the channel, you'll be helping yourself more. And can you really afford not to do that? The first thing that I planned for tonight is actually not about WoW. And I realize there's many of you that might not give a fuck about this, but this is a game that a lot of people actually care about, and a lot of people are actually getting very hyped about. I think it's fair to say that this is one of the biggest hyped MMOs out there at the moment, and that of course is Ashes of Creation. We know that Ashes of Creation is going to have their first ever non-NDA alpha. And that's happening, I think, in this week. That alpha is going live, so people will finally be able to play the game, try the game, and see what the game is like on the alpha. Now, I want to sort of touch on a topic that I've been seeing a lot. A lot of people sort of talking in streams about this. I see a lot of other streamers getting this. Ashes of Creation is going to save the gaming industry. Ashes of Creation is going to be the biggest MMO out there. Ashes of Creation is going to crush all of the other MMOs out there. Now, I'm going to start off with something that for the Ashes of Creation crowd is going to make me very unpopular. I believe, and I realize this might piss you off, but wait until the end, until I've explained it, to hit the dislike button. I think Ashes of Creation is going to crash and burn. I do not think that Ashes of Creation is going to be the game that saves the MMO industry, and not because I think Ashes of Creation is going to suck. Quite the contrary. I think Ashes of Creation is going to be amazing. I think Ashes of Creation is going to be a great game. I do not, however, think that Ashes of Creation is going to be the game that changes the MMO landscape. I don't think that's going to be the case. I think people are far too hyped, and this is sort of the first thing that I want to point out. The hype for this game is way too real. You've all heard this before, and I just want to reiterate. We've seen perfectly fine games get destroyed by hype. Players have this expectation that God himself is going to come down to earth and admit that he plays Ashes of Creation and has now decided to change the world, right? To make it more Ashes of Creation-like. That's not going to happen, right? Ashes of Creation is going to be a fine MMO. It's going to feel good to play. I like the direction that they're going with Ashes of Creation, but here's my biggest reason why I think Ashes of Creation is going to crash and burn. There is a phenomena called decision paralysis, or more specifically, analysis paralysis. This is a thing that humans suffer from. It was first discovered by psychologists while doing a study in supermarkets. They went to various different supermarkets and they sort of changed the shelving, so to speak. In some of the supermarkets, they would have a myriad of choices, right? So I think the study was done on cereals specifically. They would have 30 plus cereals in the cereal aisle. And then in some of the supermarkets, they would have 5 or 6 different options in cereals. And then in some of the supermarkets, they would have one option for cereals. What they found is that in the places where there was only one cereal to choose from, people chose the cereal that was available because it's the only one that was available, but they were less happy with their choices. In the supermarkets that had 30 plus cereals in the cereal aisle, people didn't take any. The vast majority of people didn't pick a single cereal. They left the cereal aisle, they left the supermarket without buying cereal. And when asked, they just said, I couldn't decide. The 5 to 6 cereals in the aisle was the perfect number. It's basically the Goldilocks zone. Now, what they found with this, and there's more things out there to embolden this view, humans enter a state of mind called analysis paralysis. When you give us too much choice, when you provide us with 20 choices, our brains can't do the analysis for every single one of those choices. Our brain physically doesn't know how to stack up all of these cereals against one another and find the best one. So what the brain starts doing is it goes into a loop where it just loops through every single choice and throws out every single choice because none of the choices make sense. There's too many choices. Your brain can't make that decision. This, of course, causes anxiety, not the kind that a lot of people say they suffer from, but actual anxiety. And I'm not saying that there aren't a lot of people that suffer from actual anxiety, but sometimes I'll hear people say, oh, I suffer from anxiety. I feel a little bit nervous before I enter a room with people. And I'm like, that's fucking normal. Everyone suffers. That doesn't need a name. Actual people that suffer from anxiety suffer from heavy anxiety, right? They can't leave their homes. That's how bad it gets. Not everyone suffers from, if you're just a little nervous, you're not necessarily suffering from anxiety. You're just a little nervous, and that's fine. But it leads to anxiety, and what does the brain do when it suffers from this? It walks away. The brain literally just goes, no thanks. Don't want to deal with this, so the brain removes you from the circumstance that made you uncomfortable. The other problem is, and this is the second reason why Ash of Creation will most likely crash and burn, and this is sensory overload. We see this most with babies, and I don't want to explain everything that people already understand, but human beings, grown human beings, have the same problem. It's just very sort of accentuated within babies. It's highlighted within babies. You put a baby in a room full of people, what happens to the baby? The first day or the first few minutes, the baby's very happy, it's looking around, it's sort of excited, and then the baby gets very, very difficult, starts crying, struggles sleeping. Why? Because it's being attacked by different kind of noises, different things happening around it. There's just too much, and the brain doesn't understand what it needs to filter out and what it needs to stop. This is why Ash of Creation will fail. This is a game that is trying to do everything. And it does state, rightfully so, that nothing they're doing is new. Everything that they're doing has existed in other MMOs for a long time. But in order to get all of the things that they're offering, you have to take like 10 MMOs, right, with those features in order to get the full feature list of AOC. You want to know what's going to happen with Ashes of Creation? Casuals are going to start playing the game. They're not going to know where to start. They're not going to know what to do next because there is so much that they have to do, right? And they're going to leave. They're going to look at everything. They're not going to be sure what they're doing. And this is something that all new games suffer from. Whenever you start playing a new game, you have this feeling of, what the fuck am I doing? I don't know where to go. I'm so distracted. I don't know where to go. Then you start the first quest, maybe the second quest, and suddenly you feel, I'm good. Right? Now I know what the fuck I'm doing. However, when you have all of these things that is competing for your attention, you have all of these different features, all of these different systems that is competing for your attention, the actual casual player isn't going to know what to do. The actual casual player is going to look at it and go, no, I'll just go play WoW again, or I'll go play ESO again, or I'll go play Final Fantasy again, because at least there I know what I'm doing. I have no idea what I'm supposed to do. Am I supposed to attack a caravan? Am I supposed to build a fucking caravan? How should I help this node? I don't understand the node. How do I get a house? How did you get a fucking house? Where is this house going? Oh, this is a raid, but this is an open world raid, and this is a raid where people can kill me? Should I be killing people? Shouldn't I be killing people? What's my religion going to be? Is my religion going to affect the way that I fucking fit into this part of the story? Oh, so I can't do this religion. I should do this vehicle. These classes are too difficult. These classes are too fucking extravagant. Everything is going to boil down to the average casual player going, no. Let me just not play this. And that is, I think, my personal opinion would have been to slow it down. Release all of the features that you want, but do it in sections. Do it slowly, do it surely, do it with every new expansion. You add another system, so that within 3 or 4 expansions, you end up with all these systems that you wanted in the game from the very beginning, but you allowed new players to get used to the systems before you introduce more. Path of Exile, by the way, I would say is a good example of a game that, for new players who just get into it, it's a very stark learning curve, right? And that's not to say that it can't work. It's not to say that you can't make it work. What Path of Exile does, in my opinion, better than most is, while it does have all of these intricacies, it also sort of makes it easy enough to understand where you should sort of start. And a lot of the things that you're actually going to get, a lot of the intricacies, is only going to happen at the end game. So the build-up, the leveling is just normal leveling. And through the leveling, some of these systems are introduced to you, so by the time you get to max level, you know all of these systems. Whereas Ashes of Creation has a bunch of systems that even if players understand them, is going to ruin the experience. For example, they just explained in the alpha how caravans will work. If you take a caravan, by the way, there's no global auction house, which is an amazing feature. I just want to say, I am going to play Ashes of Creation. And I will probably play the living shit out of that game. I'm going to love it. But also, I'm not a casual. I don't have a job, right? I don't only have 3 hours a night to work, to play games. The rest of the time I'm working. If I want, I can stream for 12 hours a day on Twitch and play the fucking game. It'd be good, right? I can do that because it's my job. Whereas most other people, they have 3 hours a night to play the game. How in the hell are they going to spend those three hours learning how a new game is supposed to work when they could just go play a game that they already understand? They already know how that game is going. But the caravan system is basically going to work. There's no global auction house in this game. The only way to get goods from one city to another and to actually make money, you have to hire or rent a caravan. You then have to transport this caravan from the one city to the other, while other players can easily attack this caravan and steal your shit. So you have to be very careful with how you do it. If they destroy your caravan, a portion of your loot is cancelled on impact, right? So as soon as the caravan is destroyed, a portion of the loot is completely cancelled. Then anyone can pick up the loot that is now on the ground by just running over it and clicking it and picking it up. But if they get killed again, a portion of the loot is being destroyed. So you can see how this is very quickly going to become a massive griefing issue where people just grief each other. I just keep picking it up and dropping it and just cancelling all of the loot that you had. Even if I can't successfully steal your shit, you're also not going to get fucking anything, right? So all of these, I think, make the game very casual, unfriendly, and my personal opinion is that any game that doesn't cater for casuals, and by that I don't mean all you have to do is cater for casuals. You can do far more than that. You can cater for the hardcore as well. And in many ways, for a long time, WoW had this sort of recipe perfectly, right? Where WoW would cater for the casual, but there would also be a catering for the high end, right? And the high end players. But I think if you only cater for the high end, you're going to go the same route as WildStar. WildStar tried it and it failed miserably because the average player is casual. The average player isn't a streamer that can just sit and play the game for 12 hours a day. The average player have kids, they have jobs, they have priorities. That is not the game. So yeah, just sort of wanted to get that out of the way. Wanted to make sure that people understood this because I think a lot of people are overhyping this game. And first of all, your hype is going to be the thing that kills the game. But then also, I think they have to take a good hard look at all of these systems and trying to understand if these systems all go live at once, will the casual players still be in the game? Right? Do you guys understand what I'm saying? How many people agree and how many people disagree with me, though? I'd love to hear your opinions on this.